All Things Admin Admin Tech Crash Course. My name is Julie Perrine. I'm the founder and CEO of All Things Admin, and I'm very pleased you're joining us for today's webinar. The Admin Tech Crash Course is a technology-focused training program for busy professionals. Our goal with each session is to create a crash course on the relevant technology topics that you need to stay current on technology and software that you use each day so that you can be more productive and proficient in everything that you do. Today's topic is Save Time with PowerPoint's Master Slides and Layouts, and it's being presented by one of our favorite award-winning certified technology instructors, Donna Gilliland. Donna's career in technology began back when DOS was the king of computer operating systems for the personal computer. Floppies were actually still floppy, and the internet had just begun to explode. At that time in her career, there were no training companies. You either learned it on your own or you went back to school to learn about these new technologies yourself, and Donna did both. Her career in the corporate world started as an executive assistant. She worked in a programming department supporting a staff of programmers and the VP of IT, but that was just the beginning. Over time, she realized she had an aptitude for learning software technologies and the ability to communicate it to others in terms that everyone could understand. And her love of helping people, business, and technology made a great fit for her future career in training. And today we are thrilled to have Donna here with us to talk more about PowerPoint Master Slides. Please join me in a warm virtual welcome for Donna Gilliland.
Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome. And we'll get this, make you the presenter, and we'll be off and running.
Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, we're going to start by, of course, working with Master Slides. And if you've been in one of our prior events, we covered this some, but not at the level that you'll learn it today. So it may be a little bit of a review for some, and then, of course, for the rest of you, something new, we hope. So just by way of explanation, if you've never worked with a Slide Master, it's a template that can be used to help you save time to develop a consistent look in your presentation. Like for myself or Julie and maybe many of you who are out there today, you may have to either create a lot of presentations for others and or you may be on the delivery side of those presentations. Either way, there is that chore sometimes of getting them created, and you may have a deck of 25 only to be asked. If you could change the heading fonts that are being used and the subtitle fonts and go with a logo on all of the title pages that are utilized within the presentation. So to do that manually is going to take a lot of time, when if you could master, and you will, the Slide Master feature, then you would be able to make these changes in one place and then have them populate through all the slide layout types that you're making use of. And you can also have more than one Slide Master and more than one theme within a presentation, and you're going to learn how to do all those things today as well. But before I get started too deeply, I want to make certain that you have a clear understanding, or at least a refresher, of what layouts are, because every slide that we create is based off of a layout. So here I am on the home ribbon. I'm going to get into a different presentation for this one that I've got going for us. When you're on the home ribbon and you choose New Slide, when you choose New Slide, now what you're seeing on mine, you're seeing some slides you won't see because I'm using a slide template. And so every slide layout here is designed according to the template, which makes it a rapid creation for me in terms of design. But let me just do a clean presentation, because this is typically how many will start off, from scratch. So when you're from scratch and you're on the home ribbon and go to New Slide, well, there are those layouts. Those are your standard ones, and there are 9, and they're not customized. You'd have to customize as you go. So just be aware that you have 9: title slide, title and content, section header, 2 content. I won't list them all, but at this point you should be familiar with these coming in at the level of learning that we're doing today. So these layouts are part of your Slide Master. So let me go back to one I've got going for us, and we'll get started. So here's one that I've got going, and I want you to keep this in mind so that it'll help you better understand why you would want more than one master within a given presentation. So in this scenario, I might be speaking for the day to a group where they've asked me to speak on the topic of marketing using Pinterest, which the colors in Pinterest are reds and whites, and to speak a bit on Instagram. And Instagram, the core color is more of a brown color with some other colors splashed in. And then maybe to speak a bit about LinkedIn. And of course, LinkedIn primary color is a blue, and then there are whites utilized. So with that said, I might have multiple slides that speak to various points within each of those three platforms. So when it comes time for me to transition over to speaking about the Pinterest part, then with my master layout, all my slides can have that same cohesive look like you're seeing here, the reds and the whites and a little bit of a black and a gray, and the background is a brick building. So now that you know that, and why I might want to use more than one master, let's just start first with how do I change the master and impact all slides that are used in my presentation. And that would mean that you would need to go to the View ribbon, and when you get to the View ribbon, you have a presentations view. We're always in normal. You want to remember the presentation view because when we want to come out of the slide master mode, we want to go back to normal view. Then to the right is a group of tools under master views, and the goal for us is working with slide masters. And when you approach that button, you're immediately told that its purpose is to control the look of your entire presentation, and that could be many things: colors, fonts, backgrounds. I may want a background to be an image. I may want to bring in a logo, but I want it on a certain slide type, and every time I use that layout type, I want that logo there. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Slide Master, and that's going to change your screen. Your screen on the left has a navigation pane, and you have the layout for whatever template that you're utilizing. So that's why mine has all the reds and the whites. I actually started creating this Pinterest presentation using a template that's already in PowerPoint 2013's libraries. And then I'm going to modify it later on to my own personal need for a Pinterest presentation. But the point here is this. On the left-hand side, you need to have a clear understanding of why do I have the one big slide at the top and all slides beneath are in an indented layout. Because the first slide is known as your master. So that means that whatever you do to the master is going to make changes to every single slide that is beneath. And before we go deeper into that, if you want to know when you're in the master, what type layouts are there. When you hover one of these slides that's indented up under the master, it will pop up and tell you the type slide. Mine's saying that this one I'm hovering over is a title slide layout, and that it's currently being used by slide 1 in my presentation that I already had started developing. And that would mean, in this case, if I make any changes to the master for that layout, then any slides in the future that I insert that are using the layout type called title slide, they would get all of those changes. So if I click that one now, I'm actually on the master for any layout types that are a title type layout. And whatever I do here would change all those. I'm going to just make a change here to the font. Because once you choose a master for a layout type you want to change, then you move over to the right-hand side and you begin changing the placeholders that are there. In this case, this is a title placeholder, and I want to change the font. It's set to an 80, and I want to bring it down, and I'm on the Home ribbon in the font group. I'm going to bring it down from an 80 to a 60, and I don't like that it's an impact font. I'm going to see how it would look as a Georgia. Now, while that's probably not my favorite, I'm not going to take up a lot of your time, but the point is I am on a title layout slide, and I have changed this font from an Impact to a Georgia and the size to a 60. And then anything else that I changed, it would have that. In fact, I'm going to add an image here. Insert a photo. I'm on Insert Ribbon. Let's see, I'm going to do Online Pictures. And I'm going to search for a push pin. And there's one that suits me. And I'm going to put it on this slide. Now, while you're here, you can close your master view if you are through making changes to each slide layout. Because remember, I didn't do anything with the master, because had I done it on the master, all slides would have gone to the Georgia and the new font size. So I made that change. Now, because I already had a slide going and I come back in, you can see I've got double entries here because I already had a push pin. I'll change that here in just a moment. But watch what happens now if I go to New Slide. And if you can see on my screen, it does show that a title slide has a push pin on it. So every time I transition into a new topic, if I use the title slide, it would automatically have that push pin. So I go ahead and choose that, and there it is, the push pin, and the title is set to Georgia and 60. I tend to use title slides in a big presentation to transition to a new topic. All right, you get the idea. Now let's go back, and I'll fix my double pin entry later. Back to View, back to Slide Master. Now, here in the Slide Master, you can have more than one master, as I mentioned. And here's how you would do that. While you're in the master of the current presentation, and again, my need was to speak about LinkedIn as a topic and Instagram as a topic. So as I gear up for that, then I want a master that controls the look of the LinkedIn slides. And here from your slide, a Slide Master ribbon, you can see that in the Edit Master group, there's an option to insert a Slide Master. And when you click, you will, at the bottom of the current Slide Master, get a brand new one. It doesn't have any frills, bells and whistles, colors, or themes. It's just generic, just like it is when you start a brand new presentation. And at this point, you would use all your knowledge for formatting, because this class assumes that you have been down that road of changing formats for titles and changing bulleted levels, things of that nature, although I'll do a little bit of that for us. So here, as you look, there are all the layout types. Now let's propose for a moment that you get the new master, and there are only maybe 3 slide layouts out of the 9 that we always get when we have a master layout. And you want to remove the ones you know you're never going to use in this master setup. Well, you can delete the ones you don't need. Let's see what we've got here. Title slide layout, I know I want to keep that one. The second one is a title and content. I do like to use that one. The next one is a section header, and I don't think I'm going to use that in here, so I will right-click on the slide layout type I don't want and choose Delete the Layout. And then here's one that's comparing to content, but you get the idea. You as the creator, you're going to have to know which slide type layouts you need to retain for your presentation. So I'm just getting rid of those things that I know I'm not going to need by right-clicking and deleting that layout. Just delete a few more. And by the way, if you had sequential list, you could always click on the first one, hold down the Shift key, click on the last one if they're all sequentially together, and get rid of them all at one time. So now, let me make a few changes here. Here I am in the second master layout. And while in the master layout, you have a Slide Master ribbon. That's where we were when we chose Insert Slide Master. We'll take a look at the tab Slide Master, and let's focus on what all is on the Slide Master ribbon. So now that I'm in this new generic master, you have the themes option, colors, background styles. If I go with themes, I can choose from the themes that already exist in PowerPoint, or if I have access to other themes, I can browse for them. And I can also get this theme set up just like I want and then save it. And it will save out to the hard drive to a template default location, and I could reuse it for other presentations. So let's see. Don't have a lot to choose from here, so I'll have to make it quick for us. So let's say it's Instagram I'm doing. Instagram has browns in it, and here's one called Organic, and I'll choose Organic. And as you can see, I get an organic master. I get an organic master that I can work with. What actually happens is you wind up with 3, because this one was a blank one I brought in, and on the theme, so you can see again, when I hover over a theme, it isn't applying it to the one I'm in. I'll have to go through and make those manual changes. It's applying it to the ones that I brought in. But keep this in mind though, if you do choose a theme, that's a good way for you to start with a secondary master rather than having gone to Insert Slide Master and get a brand new one. So let's make sure clarification is there. If I go with that original approach, Insert Slide Master, yes, we get a second master, but it's generic. Then I can go through each one manually making the changes. But if I know that one of these themes has most of the design look and elements that I'd like to work off of as a model, then I could get my second master by choosing a theme. So I hope that's clear. Let me go back and eliminate the one that I brought in. If you want to eliminate a master, you can start with the controlling slide, the master at the top, and when you right-click, you can choose to delete that master. And now I've got the one that I chose earlier. So for the Instagram, I chose a theme, and that in turn gave me another master. And then from there, if I think that this will work for me for my Instagram presentation, I can go about the business of changing the style of the lettering to the bullets, whatever I need to do. And right now it shows what theme is being used. If you'll notice on mine, the border for the slide has greens in it. And as you look at the edit theme and the background group, it shows you the colors. And now colors I covered in a prior 1-hour event. And if you weren't on that one, just a little refresher, colors control the combination of colors that are used in a theme. Every theme color has a total of 8 colors in them. The default color theme in Microsoft is called Office. And out of the 8 colors of every theme, 2 of them cover what color your hyperlinks would be. If you did www.allthingsadmin.com, it might be blue in one presentation, but it could be purple in another, depending upon the theme that is applied. And so you can change the color theme if you like. And as I hover, I can see that the lines that are going around the border are changing from, to red to pink, depends upon the color theme I'm using. Right, so hopefully this makes sense so far. So just by way of a quick recap before I go any deeper. We started off with a presentation I already had going, and I wanted to go into the master view to make some alterations. And that was from View, Ribbon, and then from Master Views, Slide Master, which is where we are now. Right now, the other part is that we wanted a second master for Instagram, and I already had a theme, or the program had a theme that I liked fine. It was called Organic, and that's the one I used and gave you a second master set. Now, if you have another presentation and it has a layout you like and you want to combine it, like for me, I do have a presentation that's just on LinkedIn and I have one that's just on Pinterest. Well, I could combine those and retain the layouts of each of them, and they would have their own master. Let me show you how this works. I'm going to eliminate the one I just brought in by right-clicking the master slide and choosing to delete the master. I'll do the same for the third one I brought in by virtue of a theme. So I'm going to go into another one I've already got going. Okay, here is the one I have on a different slide. Now I am in master mode. I'm right-clicking the main master slide, and then I'm going to choose to copy it. The reason why I'm not choosing the one that says duplicate slide master, I'm not wanting to duplicate this slide master in this presentation. I just want to grab a copy of it to use elsewhere. So I've done a copy. I'm going to move into the one that we've got going on Pinterest. And if I come to the very bottom of the slide master pane for the one I was in on Pinterest, then a horizontal line appears. I can right-click. You have two choices. One says use destination theme. Now I don't want to use the destination theme because my destination theme is relative to Pinterest and I've got these whites, grays, and reds going on. I want to retain what's coming in. So that's why you would choose the one that says, the tag that says keep source formatting. And there it is, all those browns. There is a number 2 at the top left indicating this is a second master. And then it would be a repeat process for you. You would go to each slide and you would make the changes you wanted. And once more, a clarification, when I say each slide, remember that each slide encompasses different layouts. So if your intent is not to change a layout that is title and content, then that's not the slide you want to be on when you make your changes, because your slide deck may be using 10 slides that were created off the title and content layout. So just remember that. All right, so let me do a few little changes here. For example, let me look at the slides that I have. Right, now here's one that is says blank layout, and it's currently not used by any slides. And I'm going to change this one so that it has a video on it. And maybe it's a video that I would want to use often throughout a presentation with this particular layout. Then once it's here, it would always be available. I'm going to choose that one, and it is a blank type. And I could add a header if I want, but right now I'm just going to focus on getting the video in. Insert. And then over to your right, it's the last group of tools on the insert ribbon is a media. And you have an option for video. Now with video, you can bring in something from online, which I'm about to do, or you can bring in a video that's actually on your PC. I'm going to start first with the online video so you can see how that works. So I guess you could say you're getting a bonus this afternoon. It's over and above your master slides, but online video, a box will appear, and of course if you're online, you have different browse areas to your OneDrive if you're using Microsoft's cloud storage, to YouTube, which I do have a YouTube channel. So I'm going to put in here, let's see here, most training, and I'm going to put in Excel time calculations. And there are all the videos that meet that search criteria. So I'll hover over, see if I can find the right one quickly. And if I can't, I'll just pick one for your time's sake. Well, that's okay. I'm going to have to make an executive decision and pick one. I don't see my timesheet. I know it's here. It's just among many, many, many that are here. So I'll pick one for time's sake. Let me get back up to this one. Okay, this one's on a mortgage amortization schedule. And so YouTube's processing, and in comes a small view of it. Now, if you wanted to make that larger, you could. Now, I won't go into a lot of detail with this because your training isn't really about video, but it is about, when you're making modifications to slides, the types of things that you can insert on a slide besides things like aesthetic changes in fonts and colors and backgrounds. Now, this video would actually play when you go into play mode. You would be able to click it and it would play. I'm going to delete that one, and I am going to bring in one more. I've eliminated that one. I'm going to do a video that's on my PC. And this one is on wildlife. And it will come in on the entire slide. So I'm going to drag it down and make it a little smaller. And when Julie and I do some more of the PowerPoints, we'll try to add more of video into the training. Right now you're just getting a sneak peek, because there are different things for you to learn here, like how to put an image on top of that black hole look that you got. And let's see, I'll do one. So here I am. I'm going to format in a playback ribbon for this video. And I'll go ahead over on the left where it says poster frame. I can choose an image from file. And I'm just going to go ahead and put in one from there. And I'm going to use this one. And so now I have a picture on it. All right, so now if I go into show mode, it would help if I closed out of my slide master, go back to normal. Okay, so here I am in normal. Let me get down to where that slide is. Now there's no slides being used by that. That's what it is. So let me make clarification. I decided to put a video onto a blank slide. But in the current presentation, there was no slide type of blank being utilized in this presentation. So what has happened is that now I have a blank layout type slide available for use that has this video on it. Now if I go back to, follow the home ribbon, to new slide, and you see that the main event is the name of the slide layout I have for the Pinterest part, and down below there's one that says organic, because I used a theme called organic, but in your training today you're going to learn how to rename a theme so it's more meaningful to you. So let's bring in that blank slide that I modified in the first slide master layout. So here I do have a fifth slide in my presentation. And every time that I needed that video within this presentation, I could bring it in. And I'm going to go ahead and run it for you. And when you do have a video in, when you approach the image, a hand appears, and then you would be able to run the video. So, did I wake you up with the video? But so you learned some extra things in the process, and that's always good. So now, if I don't want that there anymore, it is a matter of going back to View and to Slide Master, and there's the Slide Master, and then here I could change the slide master to eliminate that video out of that slide. But again, the goal is making a change in one place and having it impact multiple slides at the same time. And so now let's go about the business of naming a master set, because we had chosen to get a secondary master set for Instagram, but we used a theme called organic. Now, when I go to my organic master slides here, and it has the number 2 indicating that this is the second master set, when you right-click a master set, you have the option to rename the master, and then a box pops up, and I can name it something that's more meaningful to me, because ultimately, if you are creating a PowerPoint off of an existing theme, you are more than likely going to modify it to make it your own. So I don't want it to be called organic. I'm going to call this one Instagram theme. And I'm going to rename it. I'm going to rename it. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to the background. And by the way, I'm on the Slide Master ribbon still, because I'm still in Slide Master mode. And then within the background group, I'm in background, and having clicked the arrow in the lower right corner, I have a pane to the far right that says Format Background. It's set for picture or texture fill. And down below there is a transparency option for me to make changes. Then we also have solid fills, gradients, and here I'm going to go with a solid fill, and I am going with an orange because I think that the burnt orange will look good with the logo when I eventually bring that in of the Instagram camera, which I won't bring in today, but the point is that I'm up here on the master slide, and now all the slide types being utilized are getting this change. So now I'll click Close Master View. And now if I go to the Design ribbon, I'm going to expand the gallery of the themes, and it shows the 2 themes that are currently being used. And when I hover the first one, it has a name because one was provided to it earlier before I came online, called Main Event. And then the second one, when I hover, it says Instagram Theme. But that Instagram theme isn't being used by any slides right now because I haven't inserted any slides to talk about Instagram. All I did was to work on modifying the slides to a layout, to a look that works for my presentation. And then, of course, you can see the original one was organic. It's still here. So now you have that available to you. All right, so let's go back to the View ribbon. We've been working on the Slide Master, which controls all the slides in your presentation of different types. But you also have the ability to change your Handout Master and your Notes Master. Now, I'm on the View ribbon. In the Handout Master, you have so many slides per sheet. Of course, all of that can be changed, but what I want you to focus on is the fact that we've changed to a different view, that it is a master view of the handouts, and it has its own ribbon, Handout Master. And in the page setup, you do have the option for how many slides per page should go on that handout. So I'm going to make mine 2 slides, and you can see the changes happening now. And then background styles if I wanted one for my handouts. Now, choosing a background style gives you format background options on the far right. And of course, today you don't get to cover all those options, but your real focus is that you are able to control the master look of not only your slides, but also the handouts that you give to an audience. All right, now colors, even using a different color combination. So I'll leave that. Also know this, let me go ahead and do this real quick. In this, when I'm giving out handouts to others, I like to have my web address and contact information on those hard copies I give out. So if this was for Julie, then she might want to have her website up at the top, and she may want something different in the header at the top right. So whatever you want to place here, you can. Anything that's an option to add will be a lit option. For example, I'm on the insert ribbon, and there is the shapes group. So as long as nothing's dimmed out, it means that you can add that element to what you're in at the moment. She might want to add a logo, for example, on those handouts. I know I would. So you would proceed like you proceed on slides, making the additions and or removals and making aesthetic changes that you want. And then I'll go back to the view ribbon. And you could also do the same thing for your notes master. And it's showing me my notes master. Now notes would be, when you're doing your slides, you have the option to put notes at the bottom. I'll close that master view. Now I want to do one other thing with these changes. Going back to view and back to slide master. You know how some of your slide layouts, especially title and content layout slides, title is self-explanatory, you know, it's going to have a title, but content is always a bulleted list. That's what your content is. It's always a bulleted list. And it may be that for any slide you create off title and content, maybe you're not wild about the standard bullets and you want to change them. But I do have a tip about that before I send you off into a more artistic approach to changing your bullets. Unless there's some artistic, clever reason for me to depart from what's conventional, I don't. I stay with circles and I stay with squares. But if I'm doing something whimsical, like the Pinterest presentation, then I might want a bullet to be a push pin. And I think that's perfectly acceptable. But in that corporate setting and presentation I'm doing, then depending upon what it is, I want to stay conventional. But either way, how would you make the change? So here I've switched this over to the master layout. And here is a title and content layout. It currently says it's used by no slides, but I'm about to modify it so that when I bring in a slide of this type, it'll have the bullets I want. So I'll go ahead and click that slide, and then over to the right, you can see it says click to edit master text styles, and again, that simply means you select that verbiage and you change it to the look you want. And right now, I do have a circle for mine. And I've actually already added a push pin to the second level bullet. I'll go ahead and choose that. So I've chosen those bullets. I'm going to go back to the home ribbon. Let me just get, I actually just want to get one selected, so let me make that clear. I have selected second level. All right, so with second level, I'm heading back up to the home ribbon. Okay, so now I'm at the home ribbon. In the paragraph group, you've got your bullets button. So when you click the down arrow for bullets, it's showing what I already have in use, but you can go to the bullets and numbering and make certain you're on the bulleted tab. And then in my case, I had used a picture to customize, which was the push pin. But you can choose pictures, and then you would be able to search for the picture that you wanted to make use of. In my case, I've already got the push pin in place, and the way I got that was through this very means, and then choosing to insert a picture and I searched for the words pushpin on the web, and it came back, gave me the image, and that became my bullet for second level bullets. And then, of course, other things of a more corporate nature is that if you don't like the distance that's between a bullet and text, or the indentation, anything you're doing, any change you're making, it's making it for that slide layout. Now on the second one here, I've already done mine, this third and fourth level, they're actually balls with a transparent balls with a push pin in it. Now, would I finalize on that with my presentation? For me, probably not. I would come up with something else, but I think that as it currently stands, a push pin is not too much in this type presentation. It's okay to be whimsical at a level. But your main point of learning right now is you can even change your bullet styles. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've not used any slides with this layout type. And I'm going to return to view and return to normal. Now let's see about using one of those. I'm back in normal view, back ready to do another slide. I'm on home, new slide, and I'm thinking title and content was the one I modified. I'm about to find out. So there is the title and content. Let's see. And there it is. So the first level I had left at a circle, and I had made second level be a push pin. And of course, now something else I don't like about this particular style is I'm not wild about the all capitals. So certainly before I finish this, the layout in terms of the style of font and the size would absolutely be changed by me. And then third level bullet is the ball with the push pin inside, just so you can see how it works. So in the future, I install slides of this type, my bullets will be in the layout that I want. All right, so let me go back. Hope you're learning some things that you didn't know before. Now, another point that I haven't covered. You may have a master and you've designed it and you are in love with it, but you would like to have most of the elements in the one you created, with some exceptions. So you might want to duplicate a master you have, so you have a second master that has all the elements you like, and then within the second one, just modify the parts you don't want for, certain slides that would utilize that master. Here's what I mean. Go ahead and go back to view, slide master, and this is assuming that I like everything in this particular master. I can right click and choose the option to duplicate my slide master, and it will right down below it. So at this point I could start making whatever modifications I wanted. Like I might want a lighter shade of red, I might want a different image used, and then certain slides I don't want at all. But everything else I like, and that would make it a lot quicker for you as well. So I would go about the business of deleting the layouts that I don't want and making the changes that I do want. And you've already had that demonstrated. Delete that. Okay. So you would need to get rid of everything that you didn't want in that second one so that you can duplicate it. And then one other piece that's important. If you are tasked with creating a presentation and you don't have any others like it, it would be best on you if you would start from, when you start from fresh, assuming you've got to start from fresh. Let me do the same thing. What would be best is if you lay out what all you need slide-wise for that presentation. Do you know that you're going to absolutely need a title slide? Most of us do. Will you need a title and content? Usually that's the case. Will there be a lot of things discussed in the presentation where the presenter is transitioning to another topic? And in that case, I want a slide layout that lets me transition to another topic. I'll show you that here on the screen. But the primary point of what I am conveying to you is that you need to get all your design laid out first in the master. It will make life much easier on you as you create the content for your slide presentation. And you could say that as a template, and you would already have that layout. So again, if that's why I'm starting, then you can go to the View ribbon in this brand new presentation you haven't named, and then go to Slide Master, and Slide Master is going to give you all the slide layout types. So then again, if there's certain slide layout types you're never going to use in presentations from this particular template you're going to make it be, then start deleting them. Right-click, delete. If your company has standardized on a specific font for titles and subtitles, then make those changes. And on that note, if you have standardized to a specific font, then the quickest way to make that change here is from the topmost slide, because it is the master of them all. And as stated before, you make the change there, all the slide layouts that are beneath, they would get the change. If certain slides need to look a specific way, then go to that particular layout and make that change. Get it all laid out the right way, and then when you're through, you can save it out as a template. And then all future presentations can be created from that design. So in the beginning, you wouldn't have any content in here at all. You just got a design ready to roll for the next presentation that needs this design. So if I go to the File tab and I choose Save As, if you didn't already have Save As an icon on your Quick Access toolbar, you would come to File, Save As, and you would pick where you wanted the presentation to go. And down at the bottom, be sure you name it accordingly, whatever best describes your template purpose. And where it says Save As Type PowerPoint Presentation, then you're going to want to say this is a PowerPoint template. And then, of course, your master slide layouts will live within that template. And in the future, you're going to create your presentation off of the template. So all of these things are huge time savers. And in my world, I am creating presentations all the time. I know Julie is. Julie's flying all over the place delivering presentations. So any of you that have to do this for yourself or for others, it's huge to have knowledge about the master slide layout tool. So I hope you found that helpful. We're almost up on the hour, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Excellent. Thank you, Donna. We have several really good questions here, so I'll start with the first one. And the question is, are these master and presentation views only available in 2013, or are they available in other versions also?
All right. As far as the themes go, the themes, you have your, I think that's what I'm being asked as far as the templates go. You do have them available in multiple versions of PowerPoint. The only caveat to that is that with each new version of PowerPoint that we've been given, we've been getting more templates. So there's a larger variety of templates to work off of, but they all have the master layout option.
Yes, and I think if you click on the View tab, Donna, if I'm reading this question, are master and presentation views only available in 2013? The answer to that would be no. They're available in all of the prior versions because if you click on that view tab, you can, obviously in 2010 and 2013, that's where you'll find it. But in prior versions, if you click on view from the menu, and it'll drop down, you can look at the slide master, the handout master, the notes master, any of the masters that are part of the presentation or the handouts that you would create based on the presentation itself. So those views do exist in prior versions, but you may have to go about finding them a little bit different than on the ribbon.
Right, that's true, because they're on the view ribbon in 2007, 2010, 2013. But you know, if you're working with 2003 still, that's a menu, drop-down menu. But yes, it all starts with the view. And like Julie says, there are some little variances, you know, when you pop all the way from, say, 2007 to 2013.
Correct. Okay, the next question is it possible to insert a slide master above the first set of slides already selected? So let's say she wants to do Instagram first and then Pinterest.
Right. Okay, so I just cut that, and I'm clicking above, and keeping the source formatting, and see now I'm at the top.
So I have a follow-up question to that, Donna. Would that even matter though? Because when you're in the presentation itself, does it even matter what order your slide templates are in?
I don't think the templates matter, but your content order, you know, matters. I see what she or he is saying. I didn't know what the name was. Let me do this real quick. Let me reverse this. All right, so we've got this one. I think that's what I'm being asked. Okay, so now if I cut that, it's being slow. I guess I did get it cut. All right. I'm going to keep the source formatting, and we'll see. And see, there it is. It's first one. I see the concern. It's because if you created your presentation from those well, let me think about this. If she creates them from the slides, then it's going to be in that order. Let me just put this in show mode so you can see. I think I'm understanding. While it put it at the top, my slides that I'm working with are at the top. Because see, I don't have any slides created off the others.
That's what I was meaning with my question. Yeah. So, so now let's say, for example, so you want to do. So it doesn't really matter the order that your slide masters are in. What matters is if you change the actual slides created based on those masters, then you can drag those. So let's say right now if you add a new slide that uses one of the Instagram
good point.
slides.
Okay, so then here I am in the middle, so I add one of these. Okay, so it's there. And it's using that Instagram theme, but
and
it
you
is
can drag that anywhere you want it in the presentation.
That's right. That's right. I'm glad that we had the conversation to gain clarity. So the original question was, does it matter the order of your masters if you have more than one master? And that really isn't the issue. That wouldn't be problematic. You're simply giving yourself these pre-formatted designs for your slides, for your topics. What you would have to be aware of is where you inserted them within your presentation. They're simply there for you to pull from.
Correct. So if you like to have them in a certain order just because it's how you think through how you're putting your slides together, you can certainly rearrange your slide masters in the master view. But when you're actually creating the slides that go into your presentation, and you click New Slide, you can insert a slide from any particular master that you choose at any point in the presentation.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right.
All right. Good question. So the next one is, When updating presentations, I run into the problem of changing the master, but then there will be several pages within the presentation that retain the previous theme. What am I missing when updating?
Well, here's what I think is happening without looking at your presentation. If a presentation is using different masters and different themes within those masters, then if what you're changing is a specific master, then only the slides that are coming up under that master control, they will be the ones to change, but you wouldn't see a change in the slides that weren't controlled by that master. So if you're changing that master's theme and your slide didn't come off that master, you won't see a change in that slide.
One thing I've found, because I've run into this same problem, Donna, that has helped me. So if, from a troubleshooting perspective, I think based on what we've watched here today, if you go into View Slide Master and look to see if there's more than one slide master being used, that may be the first way to troubleshoot it.
I agree.
But then the second way to troubleshoot it, or that has helped me anyway, so if I realize, okay, I've got all of these extra slide masters out of here, I just have one slide master that I'm working from with several, I can't think of the right terminology, but several layouts and options below it, and then I go back to my presentation itself. If you can click Close Master View here, Donna.
Okay.
And then if I look and see, oh, for crying out loud, something happened and this slide didn't get adjusted. If I go back under Layout, under the Home ribbon,
okay,
and reapply whatever layout I think I was trying to accomplish, like if I click Title and Content there instead of whatever I have applied to it, sometimes that helps fix whatever didn't get fixed when I made the update to the...
Would you want title and content relative to the main event or to the Instagram one?
Well, so let's say, for example, we didn't have two to choose from here. Like we just had one. But a lot of times what happens to me is if I get a couple things, you know, I've brought things together and I don't realize I've done something behind the scenes. So when I come back and I like, why didn't this get fixed? Because I went in and I fixed it on the master slide. Well, if I come back and reapply the correct layout to that slide, then sometimes that will fix it. But in the cases where it doesn't fix it, it's usually because I was monkeying or somebody else was monkeying with the boxes on that slide, and so then I have to go back and still, you know, sometimes I just start with a new slide and copy the content off of it and into it to get it to fix it. But that does happen sometimes when you have multiple people working on a document that don't know how to use it.
It does, but you know what Julie's saying has some additional points to it you might want to think about. If you are collaborating on a presentation, you've got multiple people, sometimes people within a collaborative team don't have the same level of knowledge that you do about, you know, a program. So that person might be making a change to a slide, and that slide, of those layout types, it didn't change with the other ones because the person didn't make the change within the master. And that's where Julie's saying that if they did a manual, then I think you're saying that in the past you would just choose one of the ones from the template, from the layout design.
Yeah, because see, what I've had happen is somebody will go in and create a slide, but they just created a blank slide, and then they added the boxes themselves. So no matter what I do to the master, it doesn't impact that slide one bit. So I have to go in and apply the title and content layout to that slide, and in some cases that means I have to like take their stuff off the page and put it back on there in the correct layout. But that has been one of the ways that I, from a troubleshooting perspective, and I hopefully that helps answer this question in a couple of ways from a troubleshooting perspective. If it's not working when you update the master slide, then it could be because somebody did something manual that is causing it to not have a layout applied to it the way you intended it to have.
You know, that might be a good video for me to make, a troubleshooting one. And then everyone who's listening today who has anyone helping them where there's a problem, you can circulate the video.
I love it.
It would be helpful for them. It would be a kindness to everyone.
Yes.
Don't you think?
I agree. Completely agree. And then our last question, and if you have more questions, you're welcome to ask them, or if we don't have time, as we are just about out of time today, we can, again, certainly get them to Donna, and Donna is great about creating some fantastic videos here. But the last one we have so far entered today is, if you insert a particular video, will that same video appear in every video slide, or can you insert different videos in every video slide?
Well, if you, okay, I think there's two answers to that question. One, in my case, the video that I inserted it on a specific slide type. So every time I insert that slide type from the list, if I go back to layout, you can see that I have one in my Instagram, and it's a blank one. I had chosen the blank layout type, and I had created one for the main event. So if I wanted a blank slide, really blank, in my presentation, well, I won't be getting a blank one because I just modified the blank one to hold the video. I don't know if that answers what you wanted to know or not. Or do you have a nervous?
The question is it possible to, let's say I want that blank one to always be kind of like the picture with a caption type slide, so that I can insert that slide layout, but then in the presentation itself, when I'm outside of the master view, I can just insert any video I want. Like, it is set up so that it will immediately prompt me to enter a video there, or to pull a link into that. But or if the way you have it here, if I'm understanding it correctly, every time you would have to insert multiple blank videos or multiple blank layouts into your master with a different video on each one if you want it to have a different video every time.
That's correct. That's correct. But on that part, though, what you can also do, if you're anticipating a need to utilize video and different videos, and you do want your blank slide, assuming you're wanting to work with a blank slide, or you want to work with a caption slide, what you could do is there may be this specific look that you want for your video slides. Like when you look at mine, it's part of the Instagram look, you know, with the orangey brown. But I could get my slide layout, let's say it's a caption slide, then I could make the colors be what I want. I can put in the caption that I thought I might want, and then I could get everything, you know, laid out so it gets, so that I ready it for the video. And then when you bring the slide in, everything is all designed for you. It's just waiting for you to go to that easy route of now going to insert and choosing video to bring in your video.
Perfect. So the two ways you can do video then are to have the exact same video be inserted every time you click on a slide if it's part of the master, or have a slide laid out so that when you insert that layout type into your presentation, all you have to do then is add whatever particular video you want for that individual slide to the presentation.
Right.
Perfect.
And video is a lot easier in 2013 than it has been in other versions.
Excellent. Wow, that was some excellent questions today. Thank you, everyone.
They were. Everyone must have been super interested in PowerPoint today. Or they've been through these pain points that we've been discussing.
I say that I think is probably as much the case as anything. I can relate to that completely. So
I think we all can, any of us who have had to create presentations, whether for ourselves or for those that we report to, I think we've all been there, done that.
Well, thank you everyone for participating and asking such great questions. As with any crash course, our goal today was to arm you with the tools and strategies that you need to take back to your computer to implement what you learn. And we encourage you to do that just as soon as you possibly can, because that will help you reinforce the learning today and make it part of the new habits that you use to save time with PowerPoint Master Slides going forward. So With that, we want to thank you for investing your time and energy in joining us for today's presentation. That concludes this webinar. Thanks again for being here, and we look forward to seeing you in class again very soon. Have a productive day, everyone.